It doesn't matter whether we're talking about dinghy smocks or full offshore foul weather gear, your kit is about to change. And it's not just sailing clothing either, because new legislation is starting to roll out around the world for all outdoor clothing, and it will see one of the biggest step changes in a generation. For manufacturers, it's been a big challenge, and while the industry has seen the change coming for some time, most of the rest of us haven't. Think Manchester and two world-famous football clubs will doubtless spring to mind. But if music's more your thing, then it will be the Smiths, Joy Division, Oasis, among many others. And before you know it, you'll be thinking about red brick mills, canals, trains and the Industrial Revolution. And it's those mills that changed everything for this city, including the sailing world. Because during the Industrial Revolution, Manchester became Cottonopolis, the place that made fabric for the world. It turned clothing from a luxury into something fast, scalable and accessible to millions. Just as importantly, the Manchester mindset was also that textiles could and should evolve. And this was the starting point for Henri Lloyd when they set up shop here in 1963. But their focus wasn't on mass production. It was more about making clothing better for sailors. They introduced taped seams to stop water getting in. They created lighter, more flexible offshore gear. They were early adopters of corrosion-proof zips. The consort jacket is probably one of the best examples of all of those features. But perhaps the biggest step forward of all was being early adopters of Gore-Tex, and we all know where that led to. But now the challenge is all about how to make clothing waterproof, because the rules have changed. The reason is polyfluoroalkyl substances, or PFAs as they're better known, that are finding their way into the environment. And in that respect, they're bad news. These chemicals are what makes clothing waterproof. They're very durable, but they don't break down very easily and are polluting the environment, hence being called forever chemicals. The USA were the first to announce a ban on using these, and Europe is now following. And it means that companies are having to rethink membranes and laminates completely.
I think the impact on us is huge. Obviously, to protect people from rain within the outdoor industry is one thing, but to protect people in the Southern Ocean is a completely different level. So my name is Kim Ramsey. I'm Head of Product and Supply Chain here at Henri Lloyd. That reliability of actually using PFAS historically is where we're going to see the biggest issues in terms of education on how people then have to now care for their products. So it does make a difference to the products, and it's been something that we've been working on for a long time to try and get to the right answer for us.
But first, a couple of things you need to know. Although they're not labelled on the final products, the clothing industry uses a grading system to describe the coatings used to make a fabric waterproof. They're called C numbers in reference to the carbon chain length of the chemical compounds. These PFCs, as they're known, are used in durable water repellent treatments, and that's known as DWR. So, a C8 has an 8-carbon molecular chain. These are the ones known as forever chemicals. A C6 is a 6-carbon molecular chain and replaces C8s. They were good but less resilient to oils and needed more frequent application. And now there are C0s, PFC-free coatings, and it is C0 that is the focus going forwards. And this is one of the central features at the heart of Henri Lloyd's Ocean Pro range. But so too is the fact that the new generation of materials are light, supple yet durable, and highly breathable.
If you would buy a jacket kind of like 10 years ago or more, it would no doubt have a C8, but in recent years it was C6 that the most people were using in terms of the durable water repellency chemical that they were putting on.
And that's an industry standard then, so anybody in the industry would be referred to the same thing. That's
Yes.
not your reference for
No,
it.
that's industry standard.
Okay, that's sorted, but here's another question. What's the real difference between being waterproof and water resistant? And what does it mean in the design and construction of clothing?
One thing is the water resistant, the one thing is the waterproofness. So water resistant is like a kind of coating that you are putting on and the water is sliding on the fabric. Waterproofness is given by the membrane. We are working with the Japanese mills for this kind of product, and the Japanese mills are top of the world for the advanced concept and advanced fabrics. We worked a lot on the different quality of the glue, on the thickness of the membrane and the coating, and in order to try to create a balance. So for example, the DWR is affecting the coating adhesion. So when the membrane attached to the fabric is affecting that. Is affecting the tear strength. So it's very, very tricky to find the good balance in the ingredient to put on the jacket.
I think the consumer knowledge of actually people understanding how PFAS is used on many, many synthetic materials, not just fabric, it's not just the coating on top of your jacket.
Starting from the top, you have the DWR, you have the fabric, then you have the coating microporous, and then you have hydrophilic membrane, and then you have mesh. The hydrophobic, the ones against beside the face fabric, is repel the water. So it's working like an engine that is pulling out the water. The other one is working like, is protecting but absorbing the moisture inside. So it's like to have two engines.
So what will these changes mean for us, the users?
At Henri Lloyd, we're very, very lucky that we've got a very loyal consumer base, people who have been buying our jackets for many, many years, and there's often times where people are coming into our stores, actually discussing with us online that they've had their sailing jacket for 20 years and very, very proud. It's a badge of honour, to have that jacket for 20 years and it's still lasting and still performing how they wish. So I think what we really want to bring to the forefront of people's mind is that actually you will get longer durability out of your products if you take those 2 minutes at the end of the day to rinse off your jacket, if you take the 5 minutes just to make sure that it's hung to dry naturally. We're still on that journey in the sailing industry of people believing that heavier means that they've got durability and they've got more protection. So there is still an old school way of thinking where we're trying to push through those boundaries of lighter actually does not mean that it's less durable. The technology in fabrics has changed significantly. So it's a constant education pieces, and pieces like where we can talk to market are really important to us.
It's almost a reset across the industry. I mean, not just sailing clothing, but clothing in general.
Is not sailing clothing only, everything.
It's just going through a massive reset.
Everything. The challenge with the traditional sailor is that they are anchored to the traditional gear kit.
Right.
Very stiff, so stiffness and the weight equal protection.
Right.
So that is totally the opposite. So this is lightweight, softer, stretch, but with 30K of waterproofness. So that is where we are pioneer. So we want to break the rules.